what's up, y'all? This is Aaron here, and we are back here with Aaron MMA. And hopefully, you guys can, tune into my channel. Make sure that you guys subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment. Just kind of join the MMA family that I'm starting here on YouTube. I'm planning on, doing some more stuff. But overall, I just wanted to make this video just to start out my channel. I thought it was very fitting since 2021 is coming to an end. What fights do you want to see in 2022? All these 6 fights that I have named have everything. They have the charisma, they have the spectacular amounts of money that can be made. It has the timing, it has the fights, it has the revenge, it has a little bit of everything. And that's the reason why I had these fights on here, because it made the most sense. And these are all fights that could possibly happen. There's no crazy, crazy super fights or stuff that just really doesn't make sense that's on here. So I really hope that these fights can happen, and hopefully we can get 6 out of 6 for 2022 just to see how things fare out. But overall, like I told you guys, please subscribe to my channel. Please like this video, and please let's help the channel grow. I do thank you guys for tuning in. I'm trying to build this MMA community on here. Thank you guys. Here goes the video. So obviously with the first fight, it's not too much of a surprise. It's obviously going to be Poirier versus McGregor 4. And Poirier is just an amazing fighter. Obviously with Conor McGregor, breaking his leg in the last fight, Conor may be down 2-1. But, in this series, it's been, very rocky. Obviously, the second fight, Conor didn't look too great. The first fight, Conor dominated. This, the third fight was, it's here nor there. Conor ended up breaking his leg at the end of the first round. But Dustin was in control. Let's just sit here and be honest. For the most part, Conor, he made a second round comeback in UFC 189 against Chad Mendez, and he's been known to do really well in a lot of second rounds, really burn out, the third, fourth, and fifth round. So who knows exactly what was in store? Yeah, being a McGregor fan, I'm a McGregor fan, but I'm a McGregor fan not to a fault. I understand that he has his shortcomings, and right now he's just not one of the best. He's not one of the best featherweights, not one of the best lightweights, and he's for surely not one of the best welterweights around right now. So I just think that, redoing this fight over, letting McGregor get back, letting Dustin Poirier get time to, work on his foundation, get healthy, because he's fought quite a bit, here in the last couple of years. It just makes, a lot of sense for them to fight at the end of 2022. And it just makes so much sense on both sides of the parties. And I just think that overall, this just seems right for it to happen a fourth time. And I mean, honestly, there's no other fight that makes sense for really either one of them right now, unless, Poirier wants to fight against Oliveira again, which I just don't see happening. But overall, I think that this should be a good fight, actually one of the biggest fights of 2022, and it's not even a title shot. So in his next fight, we have Gilbert Burns versus Chimaev. Honestly, Chimaev has been someone who has kept the train rolling in 2021. Especially after UFC 267. He was considered an elite welterweight at the time. I'm not gonna lie. Everyone kind of knows him as just like another Khabib guy, all that other stuff. But he's definitely made his name for himself. He's definitely been a very dominant fighter. If he wants to raise up to the ranks of just the entire welterweight division, he's going to have to face off against a great grappler in Gilbert Burns. I mean, I could see him possibly fighting Covington, but it's just like I honestly feel as if he just didn't have the resume to really just jump up that much. And I think Burns makes a lot of sense. It just makes sense on both ends of the party. And it makes every single thing flow better. It just makes everything it makes so much sense for him if he beats Gilbert Burns, he could possibly have a title shot or a good shot at maybe a Covington, or Masvidal, like that. Those are the type of things that I'm looking more at. That seems much more realistic than for him to just go away to the title. And like I said, do I think that he's probably the best matchup for Kamaru Usman? Honestly, I do. I think that he may be the second best welterweight in the division. I hate to say it, but it's just like you can't really just let people come in unless they're a crazy money draw like a Brock Lesnar or like a Conor McGregor, where they can just come right in and just explode. Because even people have to realize, even Conor McGregor did quite a bit before he was a featherweight champion, before he was a lightweight champion. He did quite a bit. So I do want people to understand that. And I just think that this is the best way for it to go. I don't think that if Chimaev were to fight anybody else, it just wouldn't necessarily help his stock. unless he were to, beat someone like Usman. Which he won't be able to fight him. I just don't see it going anywhere. So I think Gilbert Burns is pretty much the only one that makes sense, and it really needs to happen. I think that they could both catapult their career from this. And I think it should be pretty good. So I look forward to seeing this fight, and I'm pretty sure that this fight is going to happen. So I know I really just said that there's no like crazy super fights that would happen on my list, but this is kind of an exception, but this is kind of realistic, but not realistic. Everything at the same time. Ngannou versus Jones. I mean, let's just sit here and keep it 100. Jones will have to wait till the summer because Ngannou has a fight with Cyril Gane here soon in January. It's just like, I don't know where things are going. I personally think that Francis, if he loses, he may be out of the UFC, and I'm well aware of that. I definitely have to tell people that, like, if he possibly loses, he's probably going to go elsewhere. But if he loses, I think that it should be best that, Francis Ngannou and John Jones get their money fight, because even if Ngannou loses, it's still going to be a crazy money fight with Jones. So I think that Jones should fight Ngannou no matter what. I think Stipe is very dangerous, and I think Gane is very dangerous, and neither one of them will bring in that much money, that's the reason why, John Jones really wanted to be a heavyweight, get more money, have more of a Titan title. I just don't foresee, if he were to fight, someone who's technically bigger than and Stipe, it's just like he's just facing another really, really good opponent that, let's just sit here and, be honest, you'll probably lose that, especially he's never fought with that. So I just think that the Ngannou fight and John Jones fight, it seems like really mystical, like two Titans going at it. It just makes a lot of sense. It's the biggest money fight for people who are just kind of getting into the sport. Obviously, most people who are on here are probably, diehard MMA fans and understand the sport, and would love to see John Jones fight against Stipe or Cyril Gane. But for 80% of people, they don't even know or care too much about Cyril Gane, and they don't really find the Stipe fight really interesting, like how true MMA fans are. People who understand the sport, and who understand things about it will probably think about it. So that's where the money draw is at. So I will have to say that this one's pretty fun. Masvidal versus Covington. Obviously these were best friends, best mates, teammates or whatever, and then they turned into rivals for pretty much reasons that most old teammates turn into rivals. They go back and forth. Something happens in the camp, and what happened is what began this feud was Kobe, and this is on Masvidal. He says this stuff, but they said that Covington didn't pay one of his coaches during his fight against Dos Anjos in 2018. And it just makes so much sense. Two all-time great welterweights. It just has everything, the rivalry, the trash talk, the resume. They just make a lot of sense. The fighting styles are very different. Like it makes for a great fight, it makes for great television, and it makes for great sales. So at the end of the day, you could throw this as a co-main on any, main event, or possibly even a main event, and it will do great. So I just think that this fight should happen, and I think that it should work wonders. So Usman versus Edwards, it's like, why not? Who else is Usman going to fight? He's gotten Kobe 2 times. He's gotten Masvidal. I mean, Chimaev isn't ready, so it's like, who else is he going to fight? And it's got to be Edwards. I think Leon Edwards can crack the UFC gold in an exclusive way. He's really the only guy for him to fight that makes a lot of sense. And I mean, at the end of the day, he won 8 fights in a row. I mean, obviously that no contest with Muhammad in March, but I mean, at the end of the day, he's done pretty much everything. I think that people do need to look out for Muhammad, but I do think that he's done enough, for a shot at Usman. I mean, let's just sit here and keep it 100. I just don't understand why he wouldn't have a shot at gold. I mean, he's done every single thing that any UFC fighter should do to get a shot at gold. Now I understand that there's a lot of compelling stories at welterweight, but Edwards he's been very dominant. So he's really the only fight that really makes sense. And I think that this will kind of be like a breakout for Usman, for him to start looking at true GOAT status, because he's been very dominant. And I do think that this is something for people to look out for. Okay, honestly, this really one doesn't even really need any introduction. Pena versus Nunes. I mean, it's just like, come on now. I mean, it's just so obvious. Last fight, we saw Juliana Pena dominate Amanda Nunes in a dominant fashion and in shocking fashion as well. I mean, that was the best part about it. This fight just makes sense. I mean, it's just like for obvious reasons. Amanda Nunes' greatest, women's fighter of all time title will be on the line. Even though I still think that, Cyborg has a better, overall resume. That's my personal opinion than Amanda Nunes, but, that would be, up for grabs. And it's just like, it's just like, what else are they going to do? If Julian Pena, she want to fight the Bullet, Valentina Shevchenko, she want to fight her. It's like, who else is she going to fight? She's going to have to fight Amanda Nunes. And this is just a fight that, we just have to see again. Like I said, a lot of people are betting favorites for Nunes to to just dominate. Like, I just don't see that happening. That's the reason why I think that this is going to be such a compelling fight. I think this next fight is going to be a really hard, tough war of two people that are just, hungry for, the legacy. Because at the end of the day, Julian Pena, with that win, she's cemented top 5 ever. You have your Holly Holm, you have your Ronda Rousey, you have your Miesha Tate, you have your Cyborg, you have your Amanda Nunes. Like, she's right there now. Like, she's up there with all those, great UFC fighters just from that one win. So I think that you have to look at that, and you have to see, where the atmosphere is in terms of that. And you have to just look at this entire year and be like, this is going to be probably the biggest fight of the year. I hate to say it, unless that, Jones and Ngannou stuff will happen, and they got a lot of great stuff, and Ngannou wins and Jones looks great, and they, fight in, summer. Like, it's got to be one of those, because if not, this is going to be the biggest fight of the year. Overall, what do you guys think, will be the biggest fight of the year? I know there's some that I did not put on there. There's some that a lot of people may want to see. But overall, I do want to thank you guys so much for, tuning into my channel. I greatly appreciate you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. I really, love all the support that I'm getting. I just hope to see the channel grow. And let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for all your love and support. And we are out.